Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to class. My name is Mrs. Babawale. Today we shall be moving on to another aspect of the topic that we started 2 weeks ago. The topic, poetry. Today we shall be writing our own poems. Some of you wrote your poems last week. Some of you just you just came up with a title and you didn't go any further. Today we shall all write our own poem and submit on Edmodo. We started out in last 2 weeks. We looked at what a poem is, the features of a poem, what makes a poem, and we likened it to the ingredients put together to cook the vegetable soup. So today, we have learned so much about what a poem is, and so today we shall be writing our poems. Please let us look at the checklist. We have a checklist that we are working with, so that we can look at it and be sure that we're doing the right thing. I bet you have your writing materials with you as I instructed. Do you have your pen and paper, or your laptop, your desktop, or your tablet phone, whatever you have to write with? Please bring it out and let us quickly look at our poems checklist so that we can know if we are on the right track or not. The first one is, my quick write is done. That is your rehearsal when you're just practicing. And your poem has a title. Does your poem have a title? If it does not have a title, quickly give it a title now. Get your title and write it down. The second check. My poem has an author. Of course, that is you. You're the poet or the poetess. You have a name. You have an identity. You are the author of the poem. You are the poet, or a poet in making anyway. Now, your poem, does it have punctuation marks? Your comma, your full stop, your colon or semicolon, exclamation mark, or the question mark. Make sure you use them appropriately in your poem. Now, does your poem stay on topic? You know, your poem has got to have a topic. That is the subject that it is writing about, that it is trying to express itself about. Some of you wrote about your pet. Some of you wrote about your mother. Some of you wrote about our country, Nigeria. So does your poem stay on that topic, or does it waver? Does it, begin to talk about something else entirely, or it stays from beginning to the end right on the topic? Now, let us move to rhyming poem. Do you have a word bank that you use? You should have a word bank of lots of words that rhyme. You keep them, you write them and keep them in a place, maybe in a note or in your tablet or in your laptop, and keep them so that when you want to write things like a poem and other writings, and you need rhyming words, you can just go to them and pick the words up. So you should have a bank of rhyming. You should have a bank of rhyming words that rhyme. Betty bought a bit of butter. Betty bought a bit of butter, but she found the butter bitter, so she bought a bit of better butter to make the bitter butter better. Those are rhyming words. Yes, your poem has a title, check. It has an author, check. Your poem has punctuation, check. Your poem stays on topic, good, check. And your poem makes sense. Your poem must make sense, so that when people read it, they can glean some sense, out of it. They can have an idea, if not the total idea, but some idea about what you're writing about, what you're feeling, so they also can feel it along with you. Remember the tone and the mood. The mood of a poem. What is the mood you want your readers to feel when they read your poem? And what is your attitude towards the subject of your poem? Your poem has rhyming words at the end of the lines. The rhyming words you want to put into your poem, do you want it to be at the beginning or at the end of a word? Then we say our poem has a title, has an author, stays on a topic. Now, the use of adjectives and verbs to show something, to show action. Okay? All the nouns that you use in your poems are of people, places, things, right? Because we know that nouns, that they are the names of people, animal, places, or things. So the nouns in your poem are the names of people, animals, places, or things. And the verbs you use should show action. Your verbs should be strong verbs, verbs that show exactly what you're feeling. Okay, and the adjectives, we say that adjectives describe, do the work of description. Your adjectives should also do a good description of what you're feeling. Okay, are you happy? Are you sad? Are you excited? And then you describe something. Is it blue? Is it black? Is it orange? Is it big? Is it small? Is it gigantic? Is it minute? Is it tiny? Is it an atom? Such expressions bring life to the what you're trying to say, to pass across. And the verbs too, we say verbs are action words. You make sure you use the ones that are, strong as well. Jump, behold, see, sleep, and things like that. Simile. In the last note, we said that similes as a figure of speech, it is an example of a figure of speech, that, it makes use of words like and as. For example, she's like a pig, or she or he is as tall as a tree. Okay, and then moving on to metaphor, make sure that the two objects, we don't make use of as and like. Instead, we do a direct comparison by saying she's a pig. Okay, he's a snail. Of course, you're trying to say that he's very slow and things like that. And of course, personification. Look at your personification and add what you need to add to the poem. You bring in the, the qualities and the attributes of a living thing, bringing it and putting it on something that is not living. That is your use of personification. Like saying the sky is smiling. Okay, the door is screaming. The car is running around. And things like that. You use something that that a living thing has an attribute, and then you place it on something that is not living. So that is the checklist we have quickly looked at now. We can go over it again so that we can, have, a more, a better understanding. And we are starting now. Please remember that you're going to submit your poems on Edmodo so that I can look at it and, tell you, we can all analyze the poems together. When you post your poem, we will look at it. If you use rhyming words, we'll mention it. If there's personification, simile, if there's imagery, if you use strong verbs and adjectives and all that, we will analyze it all together in class. And I'm sure that, you, as the days go by, you will be able to do a better job. So what are you waiting for? Bring out your pen, bring out your smartphones or your desktop, and let us start. Follow the checklist and begin to tick it one after the other. As you can see, the title of the poem is very, very important. That's the first thing. All right? So let us write our poems and let us submit.